Good evening, Toronto, and welcome back to Comedy Corner. Tonight we have a jam-packed show.
That we do, ranging from the top headlines in comedy news to an improv tutorial from one of Toronto's biggest and up-and-coming stars.
We'll be breaking down Tina Fey's new show, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, the hottest deadlines from Comedy Central's Bieber Roast, and, oh, let's not forget the tragic news of Zayn Malik's leaving One Direction. A moment of silence as we pretend to care.
Wait, no, I actually care. How sad is it that Zayn Malik left?
I don't know.
See, my issue with that is I feel like they're all the same. I don't feel like Zayn had the star factor. If one of them did, I would have to go with Harry, and I know he's Harry Styles because of his hair, but everyone else just kind of blends for me.
See,
I agree.
When the show started, right, Zayn had this whole thing where he was too shy to dance, he was, too shy to do anything.
Oh, boo-hoo.
But I feel like he's really grown, and if you listen to his albums and all the One Direction just songs, he's the one that riffs. I feel like they're really gonna miss him.
He's the riffer.
He's the riffer?
We're losing the riffer. Maybe it's kind of tragic. Maybe it's a little tragic.
I don't know. My thing is that I think they have good stage presence and collectively as a band, yeah, they're great, but individually I don't think they're that great singers. So if Zayn leaves, there's his voice that amazing that they're gonna sound.
It's true. There's
much
a reason why they made them a band in X Factor, right?
And not solo stars. That is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, but if you think about other boy bands, that we've had before, we have NSYNC, we have Backstreet Boys, and while they're classics, I don't know if you can really argue that they were great singers either.
Justin Timberlake was
soft spot for NSYNC. Let's be careful. You have tickets to their show, don't you?
I do. I have tickets to their show,
Yeah.
and this is my issue with it. I feel like I've paid for 5/5 of One Direction, and now I'm getting 4/5, and I feel like I'm getting gypped a little bit.
I would ask for a discount. I would write a letter to their manager.
Yeah.
Start a petition, You know what can happen.
Yeah, if Zayn doesn't show up, I feel like part of my money's got to come back.
Have you been to a concert before?
I have.
One Direction concert?
No, I haven't been to a One Direction.
I've been to a concert, just not one. Okay. I was gonna say, do they sing solos? Will this really affect their?
Well, based off of the interviews that they've given since he's left and the shows that they've given, I think they've just kind of taken over his role for the lines that he usually sings, and they're doing pretty well.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Well, viewers, let us know what you think. We have a poll on our website that is now open. So on a scale of 1 to NSYNC, how much do we really care about Zayn leaving? Not much. Okay. On a more positive note, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is Netflix's new hit series, and I must say, that show is fantastic.
Justine, you told me you haven't seen it.
Okay. I haven't, but I plan on watching it, so please enlighten us.
All right. Yeah, you're right. No problem, Justine. I'm going to enlighten you. So, basically, if you want to smile for an entire 30 minutes, or potentially more like 3 hours if you're like me and can't watch just one episode of TV at a time, then watch the new Netflix series Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt by Tina Fey. The show's about one of 4 Indiana mole women, Kimmy Schmidt, who was kidnapped in the 8th grade by the insane Reverend Richard Wayne Gary Wayne. The Reverend trapped the women in an underground bunker, and now, 15 years later, the mole women have been found and rescued. Kimmy decides to reinvent herself and start a new life in New York City. She is bubbly and chipper and just completely oblivious to expected adult conduct and current social trends. But Kimmy's inability to catch up with the times and stop using 90s slang is actually kind of endearing. Overall, the writing is socially aware, clever, and just downright hilarious. And despite the show's high energy, Faye does not conceal Kimmy's post-traumatic stress from the bunker. Faye manages to make social commentary and address serious issues regarding kidnapping in a way that is funny, but still not offensive. So the show is unique and quirky with a political edge that makes it a refreshing change from more typical sitcoms. So if you don't already have a Netflix account, mooch off of Friends, because Kimmy Schmidt is worth a watch.
Now let's talk about something a little more serious. And I say serious because there really wasn't anything funny about Justin Bieber's Comedy Central roast. I'm kidding. I got a few laughs out of them, here and there, but man, that was hard to watch. If you haven't seen it, or you just never plan to, let me give you a quick recap. Bieber's roast essentially consisted of a bunch of black men making fun of being black, a few unknown comedians making remarks about ISIS that nobody can really call a joke, and uncomfortable Justin Bieber not knowing how to take the actually funny jokes, all on top of remarks about Selena Gomez and teenage abortions. Wow. I mean, how much more controversial could we have gotten with this roast, really? To be honest, with the likes of Natasha Leggero, Kevin Hart, and Pete Davidson, one would assume that you were in for a good night. And I won't deny they did deliver. But then what in the world was Martha Stewart doing up on that stage? It's like the panel of roasters were made up of half comedians, part rappers, and part white people that nobody had any clue as to why they were even there. Comedians, take note. The only reason this roast was half as funny as it was because Kevin Hart, bless his soul, laughed at almost everything, while Justin grimaced through the whole thing. You're welcome for Kevin telling you that something was funny, because if it weren't for him, you probably wouldn't know. So yes, thank you, Kevin Hart, for knowing how to roast the right way.
You know, Katelyn, I don't think comedy can ever really go too far, actually. I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I will always support a fellow comedian and stand behind their jokes, no matter how controversial they may be. Even if they single me out and make fun of me until I have a little tear forming in the corner of my eye, I will laugh. Maybe I'll cry as well, but first I will laugh because I think it's important to rank jokes as comedic over offensive. And that is where people go wrong, in my opinion. They forget that comedians are standing in front of a diverse crowd of people in hopes of making the majority of them laugh, and that's a tough job. I really enjoyed the Bieber roast and thought the comedians poked a respectful amount of fun at the guy. I mean, considering it was a roast. Maybe I don't feel sensitive towards Bieber because, unlike most females my age, I couldn't care less about the guy. But even if they were roasting Ryan Gosling, it is all good fun, in my opinion. Last week I saw Bo Burnham's show, and he is my absolute favorite comedian of all time. I laughed for a solid hour because of the jokes that flew out of that guy's mouth. Some were racist, some were sexist, some were racist and sexist, but that smile on my face wasn't going anywhere. I actually went with one of my friends who thought he was pretty offensive, and she kept looking over at me like, did he really just say that? And I was not even fazed. I actually got joy out of looking over at her and laughing extra hard for the both of us. So I say we all need to lighten up and feel free to chuckle at the witty individuals roaming this earth, because life is too short not to. That's my 2 cents.
Fair enough. Well, Justine, with us today, we have another one of Bo Burnham's biggest fans, Jason Swimmer, who's here to tell us about his experience as a voice actor for DW from Arthur. Yes, folks, that sweet, girly, brown aardvark was really just our fellow third-year RTA student, Jason Swimmer.
We're just kidding. Jason is here today to share with us his experience as an improv performer and aspiring comedic actor in Toronto.
But fun fact, he was the voice of DW. Just saying. Anyways, Jason, what got you into improv acting?
Oh, man. That's such a tough question. I guess, I don't know. I started watching comedy at a really young age. My dad got me really into the Brady Bunch, which people don't really think about as like the quintessential comedy. Yeah. But I would watch that, and I would watch The Simpsons and Seinfeld like way too early, like probably earlier than I understood like any of the jokes. But I always really liked the idea of being able to captivate an audience. You know, when you go into like a job interview or meet new people, like it's so easy to like, if you break the tension with like a quick joke or something like that, people instantly like you more. And that's kind of the point, right? I want people to like me. I want you guys to like me.
We kind of do.
I mean,
yeah. So I guess that's how I kind of got into it.
Nice. And what have been some of your favorite roles to play?
Oh man, like on stage or
stage,
everything?
anything, yeah.
I mean, voice acting is the best job in the world if you can get it.
DW.
Yeah, I mean, there was that, and there's a couple shows on Teletoon and here and there. It's really fun to play with your voice and to kind of just like see what you can do. And the idea that like, I mean, just recently I was at a family function, and I have my cousins have kids now. And so there was like this little 3-year-old who like ran up to me and goes, I heard you were the voice. You're the voice on Arthur. And I'm like, I turned to the parents, I'm like, you're ruining the magic. You're ruining this for everyone. But just to be able to know that like I'm able to like, I don't know, make kids smile and entertain people with, I don't know, my voice.
Yeah.
Is great. It's really nice. I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you say the Brady Bunch was like a really, really inspirational show for you.
Yeah.
What would you say are other inspirational shows, comedic-wise?
Sure. I mean, for sketch, definitely Comedy Bang Bang, Mr. Show.
There's a lot, for sure. So you actually apparently have a game for us to play today to teach us how to improv.
That's right. In my
You
travels.
know what? I actually think that is all the time we have for today.
Aw.
But Jason,
Next
thank you
time,
so much
Jason.
for having
Next
us.
time.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Next time you're going to teach us some valuable comedic lessons. I'll hold you to it.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Sorry. Join us next week on Comedy Corner as we have Ellen DeGeneres and Snoop Dogg playing what I'm sure will be a heated game of Flip Cup.
good night, Toronto, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.